Ladies and gentlemen, from Hard Rock Live at the Seminole Hard Rock Hotel and Casino in Hollywood, Florida, our next bout is brought to you by BYB Extreme and Coin. This bout's scheduled for 7 two-minute rounds of professional bare knuckle boxing for the BYB Lightweight Championship. Your judges scoring at ringside, Vicente Rodriguez, Michael Tate, and Rich Green. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing black trunks with silver trim. She weighed in at 136 pounds. Tonight, making her bare knuckle debut, La Hija de Mexico City, Mexico, y Denver, Colorado. Here is Patricia Patty Juarez. Her opponent fighting out of the red corner, wearing the light blue trunks with the white trim. She weighed in at 136 pounds. She is undefeated in her professional career, 2 wins, no losses. From Gig Harbor, Washington, here is Christine Knuckles Stanley. Referee Wayne Spinola with the instructions.
All right, ladies, you know the rules. Obey my commands at all times. Protect yourself at all times. Touch glove. Step back.
Stanley set on the title. She has dedicated the past decade to MMA and bare knuckle boxing. This has been something I've been dreaming about for a very long time. This is the biggest fight of my career. I asked Patricia Juarez if her big sister gave her some advice. She said, yes, you got to think in there. You have more experience, throw punches, move laterally, and attack the body. Here we go. The title fight is underway. Stanley in the red wraps, Juarez in the blue.
And both girls came out flying. Aggression.
And those are skilled punches. Those are right down the pipe, turning it.
Yep. Both in a tight guard as well. Cut already on the cheek of Patricia Juarez. Nice jab there by Juarez on the way in, and mean intention there by Stanley. But it seems the physically stronger of the two is Juarez. Is in the clinches. She's able to push Stanley back, and that could come into play as the fight weighs on. Let's see.
Especially, Paulie, when you look at the fact that Stanley has that MMA background where Patricia does not, and so she's utilized the clinch a lot more. And if Patricia can nullify that potential advantage, that could be huge in this fight as it goes on.
Yeah, even psychologically.
Yes, for sure.
And I'll tell you she's going to do that. She's very good at pivoting, and that's something she works at a lot in the gym, turning her opponent, and creating those punching angles that we talked about. Julio Cesar Chavez, yes, senior.
Attack the body.
Nice jab. I like how she's starting with the jab as Juarez. Again, she seems the more set of the two. And seems to be at least setting up a bit behind the jab. You see Stanley using the up jab from a lower guard. There it is again.
There is a huge mouth under the left eye of Stanley.
Yeah, from those right hands. Yeah, her eye's almost closed.
What a great start. Fight scheduled for 7 two-minute rounds, and both women connected.
You know what, guys? We've gone 2 straight fights in the Trigon that have gone the distance.
Yeah.
These 2 girls continue at this rate, and the distance is 7 rounds. I'll be hard-pressed to tell you that it'll go 7 rounds.
It's a new world record.
Tell you.
This has the making of a great rivalry between these two. Because you can tell right off the bat, styles make fights, and both of these girls know how to fight.
And it's for all the marbles, too. You know, the championship is on the line, so, you know, this has the makings of such a good fight that they might do it again, regardless of who takes home the title tonight. Let's not get ahead of ourselves.
Right?
Round one so far, I give it 2 thumbs up. Skill.
Anything better than one fight is a rematch. The only thing better than that's a trilogy.
Yeah.
Right?
Skill, toughness, excitement. These girls showed it all in round one.
Well, and a great job by our matchmaker, Mel Valenzuela, to get Patricia Juarez and really to find somebody to say yes to fight Christine Stanley.
And giving his sister Eric El Terrible Morales, who made that phone call to make this happen.
Absolutely. Round two.
Yeah, Morales wasn't putting his stamp on of approval on anybody who wasn't qualified for this kind of job.
You got that right. Longtime trainer Chris Green said of Patricia, when he first started working with her, her work ethic instantly reminded her of her older sister.
Oh, good shot on the inside by Juarez, but hook on the, as she exited, Stanley caught her with a hook.
Stanley barking at her.
Oh, a big right hand. And I'll tell you, I don't know how many right hands Stanley can keep taking on that swollen eye. Maybe she doesn't see them as it is already because she's taking a couple of good ones.
But it hasn't opened yet, so it hasn't, you know, the blood has not started to flow.
If it keeps closing, though, it's going to affect her ability to see. And Juarez keeps good body shots there by Juarez as well.
Now, you notice how calm Juarez is. You know she's been fighting some tough sisters.
Yeah, since her soccer days.
Yeah.
The opposing teams.
Yeah, her father
get beat.
Her father worked for Necaxa, so they had all kinds of balls at their feet constantly, so they got very, very good.
Stanley's got to be careful because the problem with an eye swelling like that is you're not going to see the right hands that are coming. And Stanley was taking them already when she could see. So if she can't see, Juarez could find an even better home for those right hands.
Juarez is starting to really look to utilize those body shots, especially from the right side.
And I'll tell you something else, though. Juarez, the only hard punches she's throwing is with the right hand. She's probing with the left, only jabbing. I'm also wondering if her right hand can keep lasting.
Yeah, in Spanish they call that volada. She's very good at that volada, that overhand right.
Stanley hanging tough. That was a good round for Juarez.
Yes.
I'm just curious, can her right hand sustain 7 rounds of throwing that hard consistently?
And you know, Paulie, it looked for a minute like Stanley at the very beginning of the fight was going to change the outcome because she started to, and then I think all of a sudden the left eye really started bothering her.
Yeah. Looks like there's a hole in her.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That punctured her. It's like they're fighting with glass on their hands, like in the movie Kickboxer.
Yeah, right?
I mean, that's a hole.
It's a puncture wound, yeah.
She got it on the end of her knuckle, the glass. That's why I said the movie Kickboxer. They got the glass.
See some swelling on the left side of the forehead of Juarez as well. Round 3, this fight scheduled for 7. BYB Extreme first ever championship belt goes to the victor. Knuckle Stanley in the red, Patty Juarez in the blue wrap. 40 total rounds as a professional boxer for Juarez. Fought for the NABF female lightweight title in 2018, won the Golden Gloves in Colorado in 2016.
She came out with a more boxing fundamental stance, using her legs, changing the distance as she goes again. See, jabbing and backing up. I think maybe she's trying to be more technical this round instead of just taking it to Stanley. Not that she wasn't technical even taking it to her, she just was technical in a different way. Changing the approach here, trying to walk Stanley into traps, maybe because she sees Stanley can't see with the left hand.
And also, when she talked about Big Sister breaking things down, Benny, both you guys know, we've seen her, how aggressive Christine Stanley fights, and maybe Patricia Juarez knew she had to weather that early storm and try to slow down or at least match that aggression level.
Well, they always say the jab is the greatest defense, and that's one of the things that Patty established that right off the bat and followed up with that right hand. And look at the left eye. That's the result of that.
And she's changing levels nicely.
Yeah, and she's been using feints the whole time as well.
Both the sisters in progress. I haven't checked the update on Lourdes, but that fight was in progress. She's looking to defend her belt tonight.
And it wouldn't be a Mexican fighter if they didn't target the body, right? So
you got that right.
See Juarez giving the occasional shot to the body as well and digging it. But always with the right hand.
Yeah.
There it is again.
And you look at Stanley now. She's breathing out of her mouth now, wide open, and then she's trying to find oxygen.
Good hook there by Stanley.
I'll tell you what, for a championship fight, our first ever championship fight, I don't know if we can ask for anything better than the level we've seen so far.
No. Like I said, I'll double down on what I said earlier. You've got the excitement, you've got the skill, and the tenacity and the winning mentality on both girls is just phenomenal. Even after a couple of rounds, we're 2-3 rounds, now we're going into 4. I mean, we've had great action thus far.
But from a technical standpoint, Mike, what I'm really impressed is what Juarez is doing, and that is her foot movement. Everything is within that bending of the knee. She shifts that weight. She has her base of power. She extends the shot, but as she extends it, she pivots around, and she's got that right hand ready to land.
And what do you do when your opponent's eye's busted? You keep hitting it, right?
That's it.
Make sure she can't see out of it completely.
And you know, another good little technique that Patty's using, what is it? She opens her hand as a defense and pushes her face back.
Yeah.
And then she used the elbow pretty well, too.
Looks like a paw and parry. I don't know if it's legal in Bareknuckle, but she sneaks it in sometimes.
Fight scheduled for 7 2-minute rounds. This is round 4. Benny, your scorecard.
I've got it all the way for Patricia Juarez.
Paulie, you agree?
Yeah, again, the first round was a little closer, like sort of like the last fight, but I've got Juarez winning the last couple of rounds for sure. And she could have won the first one as well. I'm always trying to give the judges a little bit of an out, but they still find a way to disappoint. Even the last fight, I don't know who the blind guy was that made it 50-49, but it's brutal. Oh, good shots there by Juarez. Started it with the right hand to the body, and stepped back and brought it to the head.
And she's timing it beautifully. She can sense when Stanley's going to come in, and that's when that jab lands.
Yeah, there's a thinking process behind what Juarez is doing. I'm trying to figure out in what way is Stanley trying to set Juarez up, or is she just fighting just to fight? Because right here, she's just moving her hands just to fight, right? But on the outside, how is she combating Juarez's effectiveness? I don't really see the thinking process in what Stanley's doing. You know, there's a random right hand to the stomach. You see, with Juarez, I can kind of figure it out. You know, she uses the left hand to kind of touch, and then she uses a sharp right hand either to the body, to the head. See it again.
I mentioned that Christine Stanley started Taekwondo at age 6. She's a black belt in Taekwondo. She's a blue belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, which hasn't factored because we haven't seen any clinch work. And she is a tough woman. She's showcased that. Knuckles is appropriate. But I think what we're seeing here is a young lady from a boxing family, a boxing pedigree, who is finding a way so far, Paulie, even in this small surface, even without gloves on, to outbox her opponent.
Yeah, and that's essentially what it's been. It's not for lack of trying on Stanley's part.
For sure.
It's just, I think she's a little bit befuddled. She's fighting on pure heart, pure desire, but I'm struggling to see the science in the decision-making and the adjustment in her decision-making to the trouble Juarez is giving her. I can, in fact, see what the things Juarez is doing to set her up, as I mentioned earlier. So I'm looking for the strategy. There's one thing to want to win the fight, but do you have the mechanism to win the fight? And that's, I'm looking for the strategy in Stanley. Right now, all I'm seeing is effort, which is commendable. She's got a ton of heart, and we know she's tough. But you need an adjustment here if you're going to win this fight.
But look what Juarez is doing with that left shoulder. She does a great job of turning that shoulder, taking away the angle of the shots. And I think that's really confusing her.
Yeah, but again, it's that boxing stance again, you know, because in MMA, you don't really see that, because if you leave that leg out, it's going to get kicked, right? So Juarez, the subtle things winning her this fight. And so far, despite throwing only heavy shots with the right hand seems to be surviving.
Yes.
Something mine wouldn't have done.
Yes. On multiple occasions. I guess this round 5, so 6 and 7 will officially be our championship rounds. The 7 2-minute rounds
And for a surface like the Trigon, which prides itself on never going the distance or almost never going the distance, if in the first championship fight they passed the 5 rounds already, they almost, I'm not going to jinx it yet, we're not there, but that would be something. It would just be a testament to both of these girls, because there's been a lot of toughness and a lot of talent shown by both of them.
The only punch that Juarez hasn't thrown is an uppercut. And I think if she's still has an uppercut, she can end this fight. And here comes the blood now.
Love how she's measuring. You see, like you mentioned that earlier, Benny, where she just kind of sticks that hand out. Sometimes she opens it, but when Stanley gets too aggressive after Juarez lands a shot, she kind of just sticks that hand out to maintain that distance. There it is again. Just maintains that punching distance. And it protects her too, prevents Stanley from getting to where she wants to be, because Stanley wants to be a little closer than Juarez. Juarez is comfortable at that jab range because she's got the better jab.
Mike, this is an example of someone with tremendous rage, tremendous skill set from that standpoint, going up against someone who technically is fighting a perfect fight. That's what I think Patty's doing.
Yeah, I could not agree more, Benny. In fact, that's actually what I was trying to say before. You just said it much more eloquently than I did.
And English is my 6th language.
I only speak one and not very well.
Oh, good shots there by...
Yes, that's Knuckle. She needs that.
And Stanley, if she's having success, it's for her desire. She just refuses to wilt, refuses to bend, just trying to get in close range to land those shots.
What a fight! Spectacular display by both women. Toughness, accuracy, talent. Huge heart. You know, much to your point about Christine Stanley and digging deep, her response, I listened to an interview, her response to those who say bare knuckle is scary or crazy, she says, I tell them that's because they're too weak to get in there.
Yeah. Well, that's I guess anybody who thinks it's crazy is probably not going to do it. Otherwise, they wouldn't think it was so crazy.
I'm pretty comfortable outside of these ropes with you guys.
Yeah, if you don't mind getting your face rearranged.
Yeah, because as I said at the top of the show, the damage in bare knuckle boxing is almost exclusively exterior, you know. That's why it's safer, but you're probably going to need some plastic surgery if you have a full career.
Hey, my hockey days, I already bought my dentist a couple new cars. I don't need any more.
Let's see, the doctor is now checking Stanley's eye.
Yep. Championship rounds, which is just absolutely outstanding in our first ever BYB Extreme title fight. Christine Knuckles Stanley. Red wraps, blue wraps for Patricia Juarez. The winner becomes our lightweight champion.
Well, you know, Paulie, we were wondering about if Patty Juarez's hands could withstand 7 rounds. I'll tell you what, I'm impressed.
Yeah.
As many shots as she's landed, and those hands have responded.
But look at that right hand, how black and blue it is.
Yeah.
That right hand is very black and blue. Oh, and you know what? If she's less active with it, Stanley's starting to land just a little bit more. End of the last round, and now this round.
That was one of her best flurries at the end of that round, Paulie, much to your point.
Although Stanley's left hand also looked very, very purple. Look at the right hand of Stanley.
Man, it is all blue, yeah.
And the left hand of the right hand of Juarez, sorry, and the left hand of Stanley, sorry. And no, guys, your hands do not get numb. Stop watching Hollywood movies. Your hands do not get numb. As a guy who's broken my hands many times, it hurts, and it hurts to use the broken hand. Your adrenaline tries to carry you through it, but that's about it. But you still hesitate, and your hesitation will cause a lack of timing.
Right. This is a good body shot and a flurry by Stanley.
But she can't see.
No.
So she can't see. Yeah. So those flurries come when she sees, she thinks she's seeing what she's there, and then she goes there, and after that, she's blind.
And then that footwork of Juarez that you talked about, Benny.
And especially when they get in the corner. Stanley's throwing the uppercut now.
Yep. And Stanley's been more active. I think Juarez might have that And even the way she's pushing through with the right hand, she's not snapping it the same way anymore. She's pushing it. I think she's hesitating on using her hand. And Stanley's been able to really be active the end of the last round and really a lot more this round.
Absolutely. We are going to the 7th and final round. How good is this?
You know, I gave Stanley that round.
I agree.
I thought she did a lot more in that one. And I think that the shots were a lot bigger on her part.
And again, the shame is I don't think Juarez is being beaten into submission. I think her hand looks so damaged that she's probably not able to use it as naturally as she wants to. And so it gives Stanley a chance to be active. Although, to Stanley's credit, her left hand is probably just as purple as Juarez's right hand.
And you know, it's funny, when Bareknuckle first came, they were about to have it. The big concern was, how many broken hands are you going to get?
Yeah. And the statistics I look at is not that many, but and guys, just to make sure, just to let you guys know, it doesn't necessarily mean your hand is broken when it's that swollen, but when it is that swollen, trust me, it still hurts. My bare knuckle fight, I broke my right hand, but my left hand was probably even more swollen than the broken right one, you know, because you just, the usage of it, your hands are not made to have that bone-on-bone collision.
You broke your hand early in that fight.
End of round 2.
Yeah. Second round, yeah.
So I think my left hand became so swollen because I was exclusively using it for 3 rounds.
Right.
But Juarez is using her left hand just as a setup, really. She's not throwing hard, so her right hand has been all the hard punches she's thrown, and I think she's overused it herself. Stanley tries to overwhelm her again to start the round.
Final round, 7th round of our championship fight. Stanley and Juarez have put on a show. And Stanley, much to Benny's point, has come on in the last round and a half.
But for Patty Juarez, she better remember everything her sister Barbie told her, because this is the round that she's going to have to find a way to fight intelligent.
Right hand. She's not using. She's only when she uses it sporadically. She's just kind of pushing it.
Well, both you guys talked about she was exclusively throwing hard with the right.
Look, the right hand was there. She didn't throw it.
Yep.
Look, she's not throwing it. And when she does, she's kind of just touching with it. It's like she wants to throw it, but she wants to get it away too. She doesn't. It's nice to have a commentating team that recognizes this.
There you go.
Unlike the guys that called my fight.
I watched it. I called it.
And she's not turning that at all.
Yeah, because it changes the progression of the fight. It changes the language of the fight. It changes, you know, it comes into play very much. And you can see the aggression of Stanley and the effectiveness of Stanley, more so than the aggression even, is coming into play now. Because Stanley's able to land those shots. When Stanley gets close, she's able to do what she needs to do.
Final 30 seconds of our championship fight.
Look at the look on Stanley's face. My gosh.
So you want to be a bare knuckle boxer. Everyone in Hard Rock Live should be on their feet. What a show. Stanley and Juarez go the distance.
These guys are hanging. The fight close.
Yes. She came up late.
Yeah, for me, I had round 1 close. 3 and 4 for Juarez for sure.
You talk about digging deep. I mean, this is like challenger deep.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow.
I got to say that this was the best bare knuckle fight I've ever seen.
Yeah. And 7 rounds. We go 7 rounds in our first ever BYB title fight.
And you know, we talked about you can't run away in the Trigon. I'll tell you what, Patty found a way.
And the thing is, if somebody would have told me the first ever BYB title fight in the Trigon was going to go the distance, I would have said, wow, it's going to wind up being a dud. This was far from a dud. Oh, far from a dud. They went 7 rounds and gave it everything they got and entertained thoroughly.
From the start. From the instant that they bing, boom, they were trading.
And you know, I said this has the makings of a great rivalry. Well, you know what? We got it. I'd like to see this again.
I'd be happy to see it again.
Replays of the last round. You see Juarez many times earlier in the fight she would have been throwing the right hand. There she hesitated to throw it, and look at what happened. He got her caught, and that's exactly what I was saying about. Even if you try your adrenaline to just throw, you still bite down just enough, and you waste just enough of a second to get timed in the counter instead. That's the problem with having a hurt hand. See Juarez trying there. She did get off a few. But for me, Stanley really had a lot of good work done in that round. This might be the highlights from the entire fight overall, right?
Yeah. And she was working the body a lot, Paulie and Benny early, but you catch an elbow with the bare
and it hurts worse.
And that's worse, right?
Yeah, it hurts worse.
That could definitely do damage, and I think she probably caught the elbow of Christine Stanley more than once, twice, 3 times, 4, 5, 6. Let's find out who our first ever BYB Extreme Champion is. Here is Bob Alexander.
Ladies and gentlemen, before the decision, let's have a great round of applause for 2 outstanding warriors. Ladies and gentlemen, from Hard Rock Live at the Seminole Hard Rock Hotel and Casino in Hollywood, Florida, after 7 rounds of championship bare knuckle boxing, we go to the scorecards. All 3 judges, Vicente Rodriguez, Michael Tate, and Rich Green Jr. score the bout 67-66. For the winner, by unanimous decision, now the first ever BYB lightweight champion, Patricia Juarez.
Patricia Juarez is the lightweight world champion.
And rightfully so, Michael. Rightfully so.
What a fight, Benny. What a fight.
Boy, that, when you talk about guts, you got Stanley. When you talk about skills, you got Juarez. And you mix that in, styles make fights.
That was a mixture of just about everything.
Well, let's give credit to Terrible. Eric Morales, who helped make this possible.
Nice
Thank you,
job.
Eric.
Paulie is with our first ever champion. Actually, he's going to talk to both fighters.
Okay, first of all, we can't give enough rounds of applause to these 2 girls. Everybody give another round of applause. What a show, what a show. For the first ever title fight in BYB history, what a show. Okay, Patricia, first of all, congratulations.
Felicidades.
Muchas gracias. Thank you so much.
Okay, so the fight got off to a fast start and it never seemed to slow down. Did you expect this kind of pace? And if so, did you expect her to be able to deal with it?
La pelea empezó rápido, tú esperabas ese paso de pelea y tú cómo pudiste trabajar con eso, ¿cómo le hiciste?
Pues tuve que esperar para checar cómo funcionaba todo, cómo boxeaba ella. De verdad que es una peleadora, wow,
She wanted to wait to see how she boxed and said what a fighter she is. But she wanted to wait and be patient.
Late in the fight, it seemed like she was even doubly aggressive. Like she knew she needed the late rounds. We noticed your right hand, you weren't throwing it as much. You weren't throwing it as effectively. Was there a problem with your hand late in the fight?
No.
No problem.
No tuve problemas con ella. Yo creo que no la sentí en el momento. Todo iba para.
No, she didn't have any problems with her hand.
Did the pressure of Stanley surprise you late? The fact that she was doubling down on that pressure?
¿Cómo te presionó ella? ¿Te afectó? ¿Te sorprendió o tú lo esperabas?
Yo esperaba que fuera así la pelea. Traté de aplicar lo que me dijeron mis hermanas, boxeo. Mi piel es más delicada y se inflama demasiado rápido.
She said she expected the pressure and she talked to her sisters prior to the fight and she did as they instructed.
Oh, congratulations on being the first BYB world champion. Rematch? I know the crowd wants to know.
¿Cómo la ve? ¿Revancha?
Cuando ella quiera.
Whenever she wants.
We'll have a couple of words with Christine Stanley. There were no losers tonight on the short end of a decision. So Christine, how do you feel?
I don't know.
How did you have it scored in your corner? How did you guys feel?
I thought I had most of the rounds, and I know it was really important to win the late rounds in the championship fight. I thought I definitely took those last rounds, especially the last round. I was never hurt. I know that she was hurt more in the fight, especially in the last round. I could see it. I don't know, man. I got to look at the fight. Obviously, it was a war. I knew she was going to be tough, and I don't know.
We know it's hard to find the words right now. Everybody's emotional. A terrific, terrific fight. Trust me, this crowd cannot appreciate enough the war you girls both put on tonight. And I'm sure you guys all want to see a rematch. We'll see if promoter Mike Vasquez and BYB make the rematch, and I'm sure you do as well.
Yeah, I mean, anyway, I just want to say Patricia she's awesome, and I knew she was awesome, and respect, man. Thank you.
Great sportsmanship between these two combatants.